What's up everyone, it's Jan Bors, new video, and in this video I would really like to talk about something which I internally to myself call a tragedy of Czech music industry. Let's talk! Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I will switch this topic into many different issues, let's say. I will try to give it a context because it's not one thing, a general thought. I really would like to structurize it a little bit to give you a feeling or like what all things are kind of connected, which are creating this feeling in me, which is also very realistic. And talking about being realistic is that it's just based on the experience I have, the experience I have from here, the experience from which I have from abroad. So I can really somehow see things in a much wider context, and also I have many examples from other countries where the industry in general is on much higher level just because it does many steps much better. But let's start with this general talk. Why Czech Republic has an issue with the music industry, why we cannot make it to the world. It's the mentality of the nation. You know, I would say from my generation perspective is that the culture, the education system and all how we are used to live is very connected to the fact that Czechs are kind of a very specific nation in the natural. We are not very passionate, like I'm not very typical Czech in this, you know, I'm a little bit different, I'm very passionate, I'm very choleric, let's say. I have this energy, I have also the urge to change things better, but of course it's not about a one-man army, it's a global issue or it's a general issue for the country and its culture, and it's that we are taught the whole life when we come to the system, basically to the primary school or maybe even to the kindergarten, that who is too expressive, who tries to be different, who is in general different, it's a wrong thing to be different. Like being great, being not above everyone, not try to be different or you know, to be somehow specific, special or something, those are not the things which we crave on. Those are not supported things. And we can see it not just in the music industry. I think we can see it also in the music industry, in music. We can see it in football, in sports in general. We can see it in every other corner. Like I think this nation or this country, it's really made for corporate people, you know. Be with the system, be silent, don't show yourself too much and you will be great. This is exactly, don't dream too big and so on and so on. Of course, there are many exceptions, but those are exceptions rather than they follow the cultural narrative. For example, when you're in the theater in Czechia, to be like very expressive, to stand up and clap, it's rare. Like this is rare, you know, no one wants to do it. We are called in this kind of but also called small in the mind at some point, which is a cultural thing. And we also have this very amazing nature that when we are not successful in something, it's not our issue. It's not the problem we created, we have. It's the problem which is others. It's not enough for us, you know. We are too good for such a thing. No one needs to tell us what to do and so on and so on and so on. And this is a general issue why we cannot make it also great at Eurovision unless we will one day 100% do it, because after all it's about individuality. But systematically, it would be very hard to be on the way, for example, like in Sweden, where the narrative, the philosophy and everything is to push things forward, to be successful, to make it. Don't be afraid to be successful. Don't be afraid to do mistakes. Don't be afraid to try. I think those are some really little perks which is missing in general in our DNA, and they are also supported to stay like this. Of course, if the majority is like this, no one wants you to be better, right? There is this lack of support. Let's make it clean, easy, not so much work, because it's a hard work to do something crazy, and also it's a lack of money. But let's go to the first topic. We don't have any positive example. The issue is that throughout the whole history of Czechia, in pop music especially, we don't have any positive examples. There is almost no one who made it to the world. There is almost no one who made it to other countries, including Slovakia, but definitely not in Poland, Austria, or Germany. Like we had Karel Gott, who was representing us also at Eurovision, but he was representing Austria basically. He made it in this German-speaking work a little bit, but nothing really crazy. But he was the only one who made it to the West, kind of in a big scale. Like he was the only one, and it's a very long time ago. Also, we have Eva Farna, who made it to the Poland, and despite her, I would say, amazing talent, it's like when you see her singing live and performing live, this is really an experience to watch. The thing is that this is more connected to her roots, Polish and Czech, both. And she, I think, also saying in interviews that she's kind of like a both, you know, that's like two nations are her homelands. So it's a little bit different narrative than we had, for example, from Eurovision Mikolas Josef, but he didn't make it to the world to be like this example. Like, for example, Romanians have Ina, you know, like she was worldwide, or some worldwide hits or whole European hits. We never had anything like this. Never. So there are no positive examples when you can say it's even possible to be done. There is no one who could say, I can be like, I don't know, like France, to my song to be listened everywhere in the whole Europe during some period of time, or somebody like this, you know, like I think Sweden is a great example, like Loreen, or somebody who gives this span and say like, we can make it to the world. So even the young generation, adults or even kids, they don't have no one who can look up at and say like, one day I want to also be, I don't know, in Madison Square Garden and sing there, you know. I know it's a big dream, but there was no one even to be too more abroad, make it really, and of course this is a downside. Education system. Lack of education towards music and lack of quality in the education system is a wrong path. The kids, unless in abroad, they are not really learned in the way how to perform. It's all more about the singing, and singing in a very old traditional way, not in the popular modern ways, updated, upgraded. No, it's still the same routine. When I was going to the school, more likely the same system, it's still here. And I would tell you it's 30 years ago, you know. So this didn't really change very much. It's very based on traditional things and very based on the teachers are not updating themselves. They're still going through the old patterns of teaching. For example, I can tell it immediately. I was a jury in one festival in here. It was a very nice experience. They were Czechs, they were international artists. The international artists were on completely above level from the Czech kids. We are talking from the age of 10 to 15, you know, and the level of even the youngest kid, I think she was from Romania, was on absolutely different class level than any of those Czech kids, because singing, it's not just about singing well, it's also about performing, the approach, the vocal imprint, some soul in it. And we are lacking it because no one tells the kid what is also important if you have this dream to be a singer, to sing, that it's not about just to sing nicely. I think this is something which should be like automatic, like if you're playing football, that you can control the ball is the thing, but it's not just about it, right? If we want to create, if we want to educate, and if we want to motivate young kids to become artists, we need to also tell them what it actually means. And again, it's connected also to lack of examples in general, and that brings me to the other topic, which is the criteria who is really good. Talking about examples from the previous past, we don't even have a really good examples in our own country, because who we see in the most pop music sphere are the artists who cannot really sing live on the level which is international acclaim as average. It's not possible. Like the biggest Czech stars, most of them, they are not amazing singers in the way if you can compare somebody to Mahmoud. No, we don't have anybody even close to this quality, not even close. Like whenever I see Sanremo, for example, I say like, this is another level. So the kids, when they see some of the famous Czech stars, they go to their their concerts, they're like, okay, my God, this is the, and they are selling the stadiums, you know, but in here, and we are saying like, oh my God, this is the level, this is the thing, then the level of what quality is very below of the standards, and they cannot really go over it, because what does it mean? Does anybody even wants it? You know, I think there is also this question, but we will get to it a little bit later. The thing is that if you judge this level of the Czech music industry by who is very famous and popular in here, those people, and you know, I can like them also, and lots of them are very nice, you know, like whatever, but if we want to judge the quality, if we wouldn't be able to give ourselves the ugly truth, we will never get further. And let's say that the music industry in Czechia, by represented by those stars, has no star level above the borders, because those people wouldn't be able to succeed in such competition, just wouldn't be able. And that's also bad, because if your biggest dream is to be like this guy, then this is a very low level of where you want to get there. How can you improve, basically? English is another problem. Like, if you want to succeed abroad, like, for sure you cannot sing in Czech language. Like, that would be very, very rare in some very, very specific case, but more likely you need to sing in English. Of course, this opened the world of the crazy competition, so there must be something very, very special about you, and this special talent also must be cultivated. The problem is that you cannot just, or very rarely you cannot just start here with this, because no one really is accepting English as a singing language, because this doesn't sell, you know. We can see it also on Pam Rabbit's example. Like, she's amazing English singing person. Like, I think she is the one who has this brilliant talent. I think the new generation of artists maybe can break this line and make this topic irrelevant. I wish for this, but for her to be claimed finally as a talent of the year in here by professionals meant that she need to succeed in Czech singing environment, singing Czech, basically lowering her capabilities and her talent to the bare minimum, because in English she can do much better work. But for the professionals in here, this is not enough, and we get with this to the another one. Who is the judge? You know, the problem in here is the thing. We have two type of big award shows. One is called Slavic, which is basically the popularity show, chart show, where people only are voting. So okay, it's irrelevant completely who is the best artist. It's more about who is the most popular artist. With all the respect, this is okay. That has nothing to do with quality in general, you know. The other thing is, or it doesn't need to refer to the quality in the way what this whole topic is all about. Other one is called Angel, which is angel in translation, irrelevant information anyway, which is judged by music professionals. And this more feels like a friend of a friend show, where the quality, like for example, when you see there are a lot of artists who are performing there, they also cannot sing even live, you know. This is like it's always like a pain to watch it sometimes, really. The thing is that those people are judging the other people, giving their points, who's winning each category and so on, which feels more like a happening than the really supporting the biggest quality, biggest talent to give this the chance. It's more about like who we think deserves it the most, who made it kind of, it's irrelevant, you know. It makes it irrelevant to be the cornerstone of the change, the cornerstone of be like go further. And without it, of course, like where do you find the motivation, or where do you as a kid see the quality? Of course you will be watching the stars on YouTube and so on, and you're going to concerts, but after all you're from here, you know. Again, very rarely you will move to another country to become star over there. Like who would invest into it? Like this would be very rare case. And then also you can say that the other country would make this possible rather than your own, which we get to the lack of support from the state. State don't invest in culture in general, like those, like if I compare it for example to Sweden or any Scandinavian country, the culture is very underfunded, and this is also very visible. There is no motivation for teachers to upgrade. There is no motivation for much better teachers to come in here and teach it, because we need to start somewhere, you know. It's like in football. If our coaches in football are not that great enough, you need to hire some very big professional from abroad to bring completely different philosophy, different approach, something to teach the Czech guys how to do it, because unless they cannot learn it themselves. Like, it's also very, very rare to do this. So you must invite people from the world to teach us how to basically do it in the world of music, but without the money from the state, because this is hard to take private money for this, because there must be somebody who really is craving to change the path like this. But we see that no one really cares about it. Like, who wants culture, you know? Like, if you want to rule people, culture is a little bit dangerous thing. So there's a lack of money, which also slowing down or even makes this progress impossible. And that's also the other thing, that there are not so many opportunities for the artists to shine, to create this good story, you know. Okay, we have Eurovision, this is a very minor project in here so far. Regardless, we had a very good steps over it, but the lack of marketing and lack of marketing from TV makes it still a minor thing. But I think this changed a lot in the artist feelings, especially the ones who understand what 160 million people watching mean. And also, at least this is something, but we are lack of TV creating a space for artists to shine, because all the talent shows in here, which are rare now to happen, they are basically irrelevant. They never created somebody who would really make it big, unless the ones 20 years ago where some stars really happened, but they were very local, nothing else. And this is not enough, because the people who are working in this, they are not creating stars for some brighter future, because also you need the people with this international minds to push this to bigger progression. But for everybody, it's much more easier to stay in here, create local money, find somebody who's like neutral, okay, like I talked in the previous topics, from the kindergarten, to be this great person. And I know maybe that from your international, like, Eurovision look, it might seem that, oh my god, you must have so many people in here who are great. But no, they are not on the level you could compare. If you want to compare it in general, and not one person, but if you want to compare it with like more wider spectrum, it's irrelevant. Our industry is irrelevant also because of people who are ruling the whole industry. And that gets me to this labels, the marketing around it, the business about it. It's also very low quality. And this I'm saying with all the due respect with people who are working there, because okay, but no one pushes them to make it bigger, better. There is not this education, there is lack of education to see how it's being done overseas, how it's being done even around the Europe. No one knows. It comes also with the television industry, like no one cares about how it's done anywhere else, because we know it the best, right? We are the best ones who knows how to do stuff, and this is our biggest limit, because we don't educate, we don't want to compete, because this is going out of the comfort zone. Because what if somebody will find out that we actually don't understand shit about it, how it's really done? Good that we completely understand our own lake, but again, this is a huge limitation for anybody who wants to shine. And then whenever it comes to international comparison, we are just not there. We cannot compete, very rarely, and then to keep the talent in the industry is also very hard and rare. Again, I can give the example of Pam Rabbit, who tries really hard in English, after all switched to Czech, because this makes sense if you want to survive as an artist. But again, it's a death throw, really. There is the huge thing about the whole state philosophy, or the whole philosophy of somebody, some bigger body like a television or a big radio, or somebody who wants to do something bigger. It's completely lacking this, let's make us to the world. It will hurt, it will take a lot of time, but with systematic work, with philosophy behind it, with this urgent goal to be relevant in this world, to create motivation for young kids, young artists, culture, the business, because after all, everybody can profit from it. It's completely missing. No one even knows what it is, in my opinion. Like, I think that the generation which is a little bit above me, they were not educated in having philosophy in their life, goals like this. Have their safe space, have their safe place in the industry, anywhere, have good money for it, be great, just don't create problems, don't push stuff, just, lay down. This is how we do it in here. Yes, but if you want to make it further, this is not a thing how we can approach stuff. And all of those things combined are the reasons why I think the Czech music industry tragedy is a real thing, because there are so many connected dots, which leads to the fact that if we want, like, Eurovision succession is something else, but if we want to educate our talents from the beginning to give them the road, there is basically no one who will tell them how to do it. We are focused on absolutely irrelevant stuff, like how the 11-year-old intonation is, instead of looking on how this person sings and perform, regardless if her accent in English is perfect or not. We cannot see it, but it, of course, who's judging it, like people who don't know what it is, who don't have the education or the wider spectrum vision of what's going on around them in the world. And we are not even hard on this, and I think, and I'm very sure, that if we take 10 kids with the talent and we will put this into their minds, we will support them, but we will be also tough on them, we will be very selective, but we will show them the road in a very nice way. I think that we're still being positive, then we can make it. But maybe you have completely different opinions on this, what I just said. Maybe you say like, okay, the grumpy guy against has some problem issues. Maybe I do, I'm different, but at least I still scream for this change. So write me in the comments below, what do you think about it? Let me know, give the like to this video, become a member of this channel to support this channel. I hope you enjoy this podcast, so give it also a like. And if you want to support me differently, you can buy me a coffee or give me a super like over here. Also, there are many ways how you can do it, but I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I see you next time. Thank you for watching.